Hey everybody, Adam Savage in my cave, and I have on my bench a magnificent thing. This magnificent, I said magnificent. I have a garage kit of an AT-AT, an all-terrain armored transport from The Empire Strikes Back, but it is not just a garage kit, not just another garage kit, no. This is the most beautiful garage kit I have ever seen, let alone gotten to actually build. This has been molded in resin. I can tell you, having made molds, having hired people to make molds, having hired people to make difficult molds for me, this is a difficult mold to make correctly. Anyway, it's beautiful. I've always wanted this AT-AT. I've always wanted a posable AT-AT that is studio scale, the size of the ones that Phil Tippett and his team animated for the opening sequence of The Empire Strikes Back, which, by the way, is the greatest effects sequence in film history. Full stop. Many years ago, Cinefex magazine, which itself is the greatest film magazine for special effects ever made, and it is no longer with us, sadly. It may be with us in a digital form, but the paper version, which was totally amazing, is no longer being published. Anyway, they had a issue where they asked all these different effects people like, Dennis Murin and John Knoll and other heroes from the history of special effects, Dykstra, et cetera. They asked them what they all thought was, and filmmakers too, wonderful filmmakers, what they thought was the best effects sequence in film history. And the opening attack on the Rebel base on Hoth from Empire Strikes Back won, hands down. And I totally agree. It is an unparalleled and still to this day, unparalleled sequence, honestly. So I'm making my own studio scale AT-AT. This is going to be a funny build because I'm not going to do it all today. It's actually going to be sort of piecemeal as I go. It's very put togetherable, and I'm going to be gluing it. And I'm going to be gluing it before painting it because, frankly, that's kind of how I would be doing it if I was model making at ILM. You put the whole thing together and then you send it to the paint room. I'm the paint room, but I'm going to put the whole thing together before I send it to me to paint. So yeah, I'm going to start with some pads on the feet. These are the beautiful feet of the AT-AT. You can see they have some alignment holes in here that line up with these pieces, which are the soles of the feet. And they, in turn, have these little foot pads, which have this beautiful texture on the bottom. Every one of these is molded. These castings are so clean, I'm a little bit annoyed. That's just where we're at with this. What I'm going to do is we're going to take these pins, of which there are 16, and we are going to put them through here. Doot, doot, doot. And then we're just going to drop, we're going to try this out, a little thin CA glue. Oh boy. Thin CA glue is terrifying stuff because it flashes so quickly. It's really, really good at gluing your fingers to stuff. Oh, I think we got one. Let's do another one. That was fun. Let's do it again. Making sure they're nice and aligned. I want them to remain, flippy floppy. Oh. Oh, I thought I cut myself, but it's just a Sharpie mark. Let's twist again, like we did last summer. Oh, let's twist again. Chubby checker, man. Ooh, such sensitive work. There's directions for this or a build video, but it hasn't come out yet. So I'm proceeding with what I can see that I need to do. I'm sure there are aspects of this build that I don't quite understand, but I'll get there. Ooh, yeah. Okay. There's 1 foot. Nice. Okay, there we go. Also, because it's super thin, it wicks. What does wicking mean? Wick means it like follows. If you have like 2 things close together and you put some thin crazy glue, it's going to spread between them and then harden immediately. Oh man, it can be such a deal. It is like thin CA glue can save your day or ruin your day depending upon the movement of millimeters and attention. By tiny movements and attention, and yeah, it's we have a blockage. Ah, nice. I like a little resistance, just because it means that I don't have to so carefully hold it. There we go. Yeah, good. If you guys really like this garage kit, I've got a couple of other doozies here. I've got a Y-wing. It's a stunner. Studio scale Y-wing kits are hard to come by, or at least spendy. Oh. There's also, as I proceed into this build, and there are all these repetitive parts and repetitive actions, I want you to remember that Phil Tippett and his team did this all with machined parts and cast, like, you know, I have the luxury of having something that they already built and that got copied, but they did all this from scratch. They're like, well, how do we make this thing posable, animatable, secure, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, all of those things. This is truly an astounding achievement, that sequence on Hoth. Why did I say Hoth 3 times? It's just because it's a hard word to say and make sure that you are being clear. So lovely kind of tolerance the kit makers have included in this kit. You know, tolerance is one of those, or yeah, tolerance. There's like just enough room for things to move, not too much, not too little. You give too little tolerance. I'm very jealous about space, so I tend to like make things too tight in their tolerance. That's one of my issues as an engineer. I get jealous of space and try and make things really close to each other. That has just led me down the wrong path a few times. Oh, yeah. Oh. With the thin CA glue, sometimes it can, yeah, you got to keep on working it if you want an axle to go through a clean part. Like this one here, I can tell, yeah, there's one that's going to be. The carbon dioxide in your breath can help set CA glue. So can cigarette smoke, which don't smoke, even if it helps you glue things. Waiting until I accidentally glue one of these foot pads upside down. I know it will happen. It might not happen. I might get out of this unscathed. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do while I'm still figuring out how this guy goes together is I'm going to start to add some of the mechanical connections. So I've got this, this is the underbody. This is this is also part of the underbody, and this sits right here, like that, comme ça. And there are two holes here that receive these two posts. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill out these holes so that they allow a 1024 bolt to go through. And then I'm going to tap into here to make threads to receive that 1024 bolt. But let's talk about mechanical connections in plastic for a second. If you have a choice, and I do here because I have hardware in many different thread counts and pitches. When I'm working in plastic, I tend to like to use a coarser thread. Instead of just saying that, I'm going to show you what I mean. Here we have on the left a 1032 pitch screw, and on the right a 1024. So they are the same diameter, but as you can see, this is the coarser thread, fewer threads per inch. And when I am tapping into a super soft material like this resin, stop bouncing. When I'm tapping into a super soft material, I've made the assumption from an engineering standpoint, I want better grab. And I think I'll get better grab with the coarser threads because each thread in the soft material, and if it's super fine, it can easily be stripped out. And it can less easily be stripped out if it is a coarser thread. You get more strength in each one of those cross-sectional triangles of the thread. I hope I've made that somewhat clear. All right, to drilling. I'm going two-fisted drilling today. One for the drill and one for the tap. I will be using a spiral point tap. What is that? Well, it's a specific kind of tap that has this really interesting cut in the front. Most normal taps do not have that cut in the front. And that cut, normally each of these little, here, hang on. Here is a giant plumbing tap. Here we go. There we go. This is a plumbing tap, and its threads are effectively identical. Its thread cutting action is identical to this. It's just bigger. So, the way this works is these ridges match the thread pitch of the thread I want to introduce to something. And then these are cut in such a way, as you can see, there's like a leading edge here. They move in this direction. And this leading edge peels out each one of these leading edges peels out a little bit of the material. And that material builds up in these flutes. So when you tap usually like half a turn and then quarter turn back, half a turn, quarter turn back. And when you're turning back, you're cracking the threads off that you're peeling. Those little peelies you're grabbing out of the sides. When you move back, you're kind of breaking them. And that keeps the flutes clear and keeps this from gumming up. But when you use a spiral point tap, this little cut up here actually sends the threads, the cut part of your threads out front of itself. And so you don't have to go back. Now, I will say the reason I paused there is because when you're using small taps like number 10s, 8s, 6s, and below, you do still want to move back. I won't in this material because it's super soft and I don't have any issues. I don't think it's possible for me to break this tap in resin. But if I was doing aluminum, I still do. I go forward and then back a little bit and forward and back a little bit. And that's also part and parcel of being able to feel the tap. As soon as the tap starts to give a little bit of spring or resistance, you want to back it up and add more cutting oil. But this isn't a video about taps. I think I've gone too far here. Let's stop this old Tony hand gesturing and get to building. Now, I'm just going to do this to mark the positions of the hole. There they are. And the same on the other one. Okay. Oh, that's what that smells. It's the resin. That also will not break through. Great. That one, I think I need to go with a number 8, but I'll do that later. They've done something lovely here. On this piece, it's easy to see that it only goes in this way. But on this one, I think it could go in kind of, well, mostly this way. But they've gone with 2 different size shafts in order to make sure you knew which way it wants to go. Okay, let's do some tapping. Even when I'm working in resin, I add a little cutting fluid just to grease the wheels. Oh, also another choice. I could use either come on. There we go. The screw that I choose also matters. I could use a button head, but frankly, for an internal part, for any part that I can, I try and use a cap head because it gives a much deeper purchase on the hex here. And I prefer a cap head to a Phillips. Don't tell me about Torx. I know all about it. Don't tell me about the Robertson. I know all about it. This is what I stock in my shop. Yes, there are other ways that may be better for you. And even me, if I went to that whole system, but I use the hex cap head. Okay, so anyway. Yeah, so if I want a low profile, definitely go with button head. But when you want to make sure you're torquing stuff, the cap head is my fave. So we are here. We now have the bottom body panel with this long pair of pieces in, mechanically mounted very nicely. I'm very happy with that. That is a 3/16 drill bit that goes back there. This goes inside this thing, just like that. Gorgeous. Now let's talk about how to do this in a removable way, because I don't want to glue the head in. I want to be able to remove it if I need to. So this is there to make sure that can't leave. It's a nice idea, but I could do the same thing with a screw. And we don't want this to turn because we want to choose a head position. Doot, doot. Doot, doot. Yeah. Now I think there's threaded inserts that go into these guys. So I think what I really want to do here is glue this puppy in. I need a brass rod. Woo! Got it on the first try. I got it on the first try. You might, Captain. You might, Rabbit. You might. Now I'm going to get some thin glue on here. And that's the thing about thin CA glue that I really love, is that you can just drop it and it sets instantly, and then you can go in and strengthen up the thing that you're gripping. Oh yeah, it's just fabulous. For this join, because I'd like this to be strong, I have used thin CA and also some baking soda. The baking soda kicks the CA instantly, but it also provides some extra body to the join. I use this technique when I'm working with styrene to create internal gussets when I want more strength out of a thing of styrene. I think it makes a very attractive looking join, don't you? Let's double check that this still fits. It does! Ha ha! I really need this job. I'm just going to bring my taps over with me. Yeah, I'm going to go with 1024 again. I'm just going to go with a real shorty. So here we go. So I'm going to use this for registration so I know I'm holding it correctly. Then I'm going to use this to drill. Here, I'll show you. This is a spiral point pushing the threads out ahead of it. See that? I don't have to backtrack in the resin because it pushes all that cut material out. Yeah, it's lovely. Okay, so this goes in here, lines up nicely with that. I'm going to get this going in there. I think I still have the screw I need. Excellent. Awesome. That's the head. That's the back end. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. I guess. Oh, yeah, that's the open question. Oh, interesting. Do they have that? Oh, is that a gluing port? Is that what you've... Fascinating. Look at you guys. That is a totally fascinating idea. So what they've got is they've actually molded in some insets here that receive these guys that line up with these guys. I'm using guys in the resin gender neutral. And I think the holes are just to provide a little bit of, oh yeah, and that's a nice alignment. And that's how they got out of, nice. So the issue here was if you actually put that stuff in, you'd have all this undercutting that you need to engineer around in terms of making the blanket mold fit this. I said this in the video about the show and tell for this. A mold for this is an absolute nightmare because it involves at least a giant one-part piece of rubber here and then a separate one that goes inside here. But you can't just use a big hunk of rubber. You're never going to be able to pull it out of all. I mean, never say never, but it's going to be very difficult to pull it out of something like this, especially with these undercuts. So what you want to do with the piece of rubber that goes in here is you want a blanket mold of silicone with a core you can pull out. And once you pull out the core, then the blanket pulls out easily because it doesn't have a lot of structure to it. So I think I can glue these guys in because they're registration points. I don't have to use them for gluing just yet. But there goes one. Here comes another. But wait, there's more. I'm going to go in and give these more meat in a little minute. However, what I can see is that these receive the bottom plate there and help register it even better. So I'm just going to go ahead and put those in too now that I know where they all go. Everyone's going to play nice together. That was me trying to be fancy. Okay. Yep. Yeah. Look at that. It's a much better grab. Yep. And those guys line up there. Yep. And then this guy sits right there. And that's its registration. Oh, look at that. Look at that. That's beautiful. Yep. I love it. I feel like, can I put this in? No, no. Yeah, that's just going to have to be a gluing. Wow. I mean, I guess that could be a gluing moment. I come across a detail that may help me here, which is this. See, I'd really like to make this all mechanically connect. Is that going to be enough? Maybe. Oh, we can give it a shot and we can fix it if it's not. What I need now is some flatheads. Whoops. Nice. Oh, I'm very pleased with that. All right, let's do the other one. The other reason I like using a little bit of tapping oil is that it keeps the tap from overheating and melting the resin, which totally can also happen. You want to tap with a very light hand into resin because it's very easy to strip it out. There we go. I don't use flathead Allens for stuff like this if I don't have to. I prefer Phillips because, again, that flathead Allen screw has very little meat to grab on the Allen wrench itself. That's really nice. It's very positive. So the reason I was able to do this and add these two screws to hold this back panel in is because this guy sits there and covers them. Covers them over. And I don't know if it sits across both, but yeah, basically sort of like, yeah, it's a little detail piece. So it's very nice. I like how this is going here. Hi, it's a new day, different t-shirt. I like how this is going. I'm going to make this piece removable. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm going to treat this thing like it's a shooting model. I'm going to keep as much versatility to its construction as I can so that I can undo the mistakes that I make and also add any details I want. When you glue stuff, you don't get second chance with it. I like second chances. What I'm doing here is I'm making some little Delrin standoffs that actually, yeah, I still need to go a little narrower. These will give me, these little Delrin chunks will be glued in here at the corners on all four sides, and they're basically my screw bosses. A screw boss is a little bit of stuff that's stuck up to receive a screw. You've seen it when you take a toy apart. There are like these posts that have the threading that meet the screws. Huh. Are you? No, you're not out, are you? Oh. Excellent. Don't glue yourself in. Nope. Nope. Yeah. Okay. So the center goes here. The center goes here. Great. And then back here. Wonderful. Oh, wait. 256. That's what we're doing. Ho ho! Ha ha ha! You can't even get down there. Let's see if I can get down like this. Oi, oi! Okay. Well, clearly I have to do some business that way. I was having trouble getting a tap this deep. Yeah, so I mounted it into a wonderful device called a pin vise that allows you to have the kind of reach that you need. And I actually, given the 256 threads, I may be able to do this just by hand. Yeah. I don't need a lot of meat. I've got 4 holes to grab, but I'm going to give it some meat simply because it's better. Just want to make sure these thread. Great. It's lovely. Wonderful. Marvelous. Wonderful. Marvelous. Yes. We now have an assembled body, front panel, back panel. Got a couple little screws. I don't mind adding screws to the visible part of this. I mean, if you look in here, you'll see these are button-headed Allen screws. Like, this thing was a stop-motion puppet where all of its actual tightening screws were visible to the audience, which I just love that. So I don't mind adding some. And I thought I was rolling, but I wasn't. I actually started on these feet. These guys are really beautiful, and I added a little screw here to hold this plate on rather than glue it on. I can still hide it later if I want to, but for right now, I'm very happy with it being visible. Again, if you look up close, these are Allen heads. Yeah. And it works. We have a lot of latitude on this one. I feel a lot of latitude on this one. So that's awesome. I'm very happy with that. I'm all about the guns. Okay, so this is the chin. This is the chin of the AT-AT. And this is one of the under chin guns. And I think I'm not sure exactly how the guns go out here in the front, if there's other stuff out there, but this mounts here like this. Comme ça. And I don't want to glue that. I want access to that. So I'm going to drive a screw through here to hold that on. And it's going to be a 632 socket cap. So the gun here has a knob, a post, and a slot that fits this and that, right? So in order to make sure I'm driving the screw in correctly, I'm going to drill the hole in from this side right there. Can you see that? Yeah, there you go. I'm going to drive the hole right there and the same on the other side. This is a great way to make sure I'm getting what I need out of the equation. Great. And the same thing on the other side. So then, they will be left and right, won't they? Yes, they will. Great. All right, let's see here. That's the one. Now, if I did this really well, it would work on both sides. So that's the right side. Let's see if it works on the left side. Oh my gosh, reader, it does. Amazing. Okay. So I think I'm just going to label this bar. And I'll label this one L. And just for due diligence, yeah, that's the left side. So again, I'm not trying to drill the hole from here. I'm just trying to mark it. There we go. There's the mark. Now I drill nice and straight. Yep. This is left, right. Beautiful. Same on the other side. When I pull these off to paint them, I am going to have to be a little careful. That's it. That's great. Now, I almost just want to drill right through there. Put like a 1 Allen screw right there. Damn, look at that. Oh, he's looking right at you. Oh, yeah. Okay, I have a plan for the chin. I'm going to sink a 632 flathead right there where my mark is. And it's going to marry to a screw boss made out of this Delrin chunk here. And that will be glued to the bottom, to the top of the head. And it's going to hopefully allow me to pull this down with just a little bit of downforce. I want to close that gap and I want to close this gap. Very minor, but I want that. I want that. All right, so I hope I have, I think I have some meat here. Let's see what we can do. All right, so what I've done here is I've added a washer in, and then I'm going to sand this. I've got it close. I'm going to keep on sanding it until I get it to hit the bottom exactly when I want it to. Then I'm going to glue it there. Then I'm going to unscrew it. When I pull out those washers, it'll give me a little bit of preloading I can add to this. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so what I've got here is a screw boss. This is wonderful. It is glued into the bottom here. It's got some gussets made out of putting baking soda into the thick Instaflex. This is a flexible, gap-filling CA glue. And when I bring this up to it, the hole aligns, and then there's this really awesome part. Here's really cool. So I get the... Watch this. See the gap? The whole point of this was to include a little bit of extra space in the screw boss so that I could get a little preloading and close that gap. And watch this. Oh, there it goes. Gap gone. Very, very happy about that. I think I can just leave that. Yeah. Okay. We've got a head. So I am working right now on the on the pistons on the legs here, and they have a lovely system of some ball joints. I am adding some strength. They have a ball joint here to which I've added a bit of threaded rod that will go inside that. Sorry, a little bit of threaded rod that will connect to this top piece here. That'll go down to this, and then this rod will connect up to this bottom thing here. So yeah, I'm adding some mechanical attachment where it looks like they had a glue connector. And we'll go from there. There we go. Look at that. Well, I think that's quite respectable. That's great. There goes one. There goes another. Nice. Great. Comes another. Awesome. All right. I guess I don't want to do these mechanically, but I guess I have to. Yeah. There's nothing stopping me. And I'm going to paint it all monolithically. So, yeah. Let's do it. You know what? I'm just going to do two of these so that it's priable. That's what I'm going to do. Doing only two of these holes gives me some latitude for adjustment later. If I really have to get inside, I can pry these off. Let's get this last one here. This guy, I'm gonna do front and back. Okay, so this is right, left. Oh, whoops, wait. Oh yeah, okay, all that works. Those face out, these face in. So it's time to lay this all out and the orientation that it goes in. That's gonna be the thing. So. In order to get this all to work, I need to get these guys all behaving. And I think that they behave kind of like this. That I don't. I may have to drill that out. Great. Found it! Found it! Woohoo! All right, the way they have this build is they have this post that epoxies here. That is not enough of a positive mechanical connection to me. So I'm actually going to drill that out and tap it and put a little 3/8 bolt in there and leave the smooth part out, which is very reasonably close to that diameter. I should get the same action from it and a little more robustitude. I know that's not a word. Okay, so let's go over what I have just done. I did some of this on camera because I was impatient and wanted to listen to a song. You know how that goes. Anyway, So I took this piece, which formerly had a little flat in there that this epoxied into. I wanted something more robust. So I drilled a hole, put a 3/8/16 threading in there, and that is a 3/8/16 bolt. That goes in. Doo, doo, doo. It's nice and tight. Yeah. And then I'm going to cut this right there and install it into the 4 ports down here. So that's the next step. All right, I'll slice these things off. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now I need to pull these things apart a bit. I'm pulling out the main screws that hold on the under chassis. Looks like I'm sort of like a large robot veterinarian here, doesn't it? Okay, let's see. Is this? There we are. There it is. There it went. Okay. So let's put these in here. I won't use them. Now I want to pull those guys off. All right. Now I want to put these guys in like this. Yes, that's how we're going to do this. We're going to do that. Each of these. All right, there we go. So now they're installed. I have used a fair bit of crazy glue. I toothed it up. I used some baking soda to also fill in some of the gaps. Okay. And now I want to drill some 3/8" holes in there. We're getting kind of hectic. Look at that. What do we got? Yeah, that's looking pretty good. I'm definitely pleased with that. All right, now I need to, let's see here. What's going to happen? What is going to happen? I need threaded inserts, and I need, yes, that's what I need. Let's see. Oh, yeah, that's how I'll do that. I don't need a threaded insert in there. I got plenty of meat. 632. 632. It's 632. Right. I need to look at my 632 thread inserts. I mean, I guess. You know what? I don't think I need to get that precious spot. I'll keep those out. Oh, yeah! Oh, yes! I don't know why I'm getting so loud. So with each of these, what I'm doing is I'm taking a threaded insert, I'm putting it on the end of a long threaded rod. It is a press fit, but not a super tight press fit. So I'm going to put a little glue around the perimeter. Get it lined up. That's pretty centered. And then use the vise to press it in place. Move. It's all gone pretty well. Now I need to do a little more research. So do I do that into that? I am putting threaded inserts into these parts of the legs as well. These upper thighs, I guess, of the AT-AT, the AT-AT. Nice. I like that fit. That's for real. Okay. Get some reference here. Seems pretty consistent that they're on a sort of a fork that is consistent. So let's anchor them. I suppose I could make these a little longer. They're gripping fine. That's the front. That's the front. That's the front. So that goes like that. And that goes there. And then this goes here. Dude, look at that. Ah, there it is. That's what I wanted. I wanted this one. That's the pose that I specifically wanted. And so all of these, let's see here. This one is slightly farther down. Yeah. It's almost straight up and down. Okay, so that's that one. And then that one is also kind of straight up and down. So we'll get that going. Okay. And then this guy is a little bit slightly angled. And then this one is coming way out because it's a step. Hang on, let me get you a little better feel here. That's it. And I really do feel like I'm a Star Wars veterinarian here. Okay. So now, what I've got here okay. There we go. The moment of truth will be, does this stand? It will not stand. It might stand. This will not stand. Okay, so that goes there. Darn it, I'm missing a thing. Oh, there it is. Found it. Found it. Ooh, ooh, ooh. You. Quiet, you. I'm going to bring this one straight out. Oh, why I'm putting on the neck. And, oh yeah, I got one more piece of thing to file into there. Holy shit. God, that looks great. Oh, man, that's wonderful. I want to end up doing the miniature Luke hanging from the bottom. That's the goal here. That's the goal. What do we got? I don't know why I keep doing my Al Pacino impression, but it does keep happening. Oh, wait a minute. How am I supposed to put that on if I don't have What a dark night. All dark night. I suppose. Yeah. God damn, it's a pretty model. It's really, really lovely. I suppose I could do. Yeah, I suppose I could do that. That actually would be a tapped screw in the other side. And we just have a button head coming through. That could be it. These guys, that all, yeah. Oh, that's not even, what the fracking rubber bar. That's not even the one. That doesn't even do it. I'm done. I don't have the energy. I want the energy. I don't want the energy. I do want the energy. I don't want the energy. Okay, let me see if I can do it from this side. Good. Now let's get this guy back on. Oh, wait, that's the smaller one. Yep. What seems to be the problem? Well, he's not pooping on the regular. Right. And he stays up all night. I know. It could have been better. All right, here we go. Oh, whoops, wrong way. Bellissimo. Yes. At this point, I think this is a stopping point because everything else I'm going to attach, I'm going to paint separately. So, yeah, basically, I need to be able to get this gesture right. It's all about this gesture now. If I nail that, yeah. These two legs are straight. That one's ever so slightly bent. It might want to move forward that way just a little bit. Yeah. Good. It's just a whole new standard in garage kits, frankly. It's really beautiful. What incredible work these guys did. Oh, yeah. We'll get a little red glow in there. I will add a little battery pack in here. I will probably figure out a way to make that battery accessible in some way. Although frankly, maybe I don't want to do that. Maybe what I'd rather do is, Christ. Sorry, I was just thinking about, I almost thought he was falling apart. Look at him. Oh, who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? Yeah, it almost looks like it's puppeting. If it's going to be a diorama, which it's going to be, if it's going to be a diorama, it wants to be powered from the bottom. But that means I'd have to, criminy. That's just something I'd have to work out. Make one leg transfer all the power upwards or something. Speaking of Star Wars kits, one of the best things about this kit, look, I know there's a lot of great things about this kit. It is super pretty. Yeah, it's also 1/48 scale. Why is that important, you ask? Well, it's because that is the same scale as the Bondi Snowspeeder. Yeah. So I was going to do, actually, here, look at this here. First off, there's the Bondi Snowspeeder. Let's get this. Let's snip this out. Yeah, I am absolutely going to have to make this so that I can get that part out there too. There we go. It's smaller than I thought it would be. So what I'm thinking of is that the Bondi craft is crashed like there, it's like in its own snowbank, kind of like here, so that you actually have the full narrative of like Luke has jumped. Maybe it's like there. I don't know. I'm still playing around with how that might go, and then Luke will be on his way up, and Norm has an idea for the lighting that is kind of remarkable. But for right now, we're gonna not assemble this. I forgot it's a Bondi kit, which means it's a snap fit. You got to be careful about snap fitting it together. Freaking fantastic. I love the fact that this plays well with others, including the Bondi kit. There's a Bondi AT-ST that would also be the correct scale for this, and that's really exciting. I think that I may have to play around with a few of these parameters here and there, but for the most part, I'm going to call my AT-AT done, except for the painting and diorama work. That will be a separate video or videos. But for right now, thank you for joining me for my assembly of this insanely easy to use kit. Just every casting is perfect. There is not a bubble on this thing. These are spendy at the retail price and worth every penny as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. Thanks for joining me for this one-day build. I think I'm going to go have some dinner. Have a good day, guys. See you next time.